Truckpedia is on a mission to digitize the trucking company where we connect shippers directly to carriers. We're doing that by allowing trucking companies to share their capacity in real time. It's really easy for us to book a plane ticket, to book a hotel, but when it comes to booking a truck, it's almost impossible. Truckpedia is on a mission to digitize that.
Welcome again, everyone, to another edition of the Chris Joslyn Show. I am your host, and today we have a wonderful guest, Mr. Justin Liu, the co-founder of Truckpedia. This is an organization and a company and a platform that is merging shippers with carriers and providing paperwork expertise, efficiencies, and something that can drive your business to the next level. Welcome, without any further ado, Mr. Justin Liu. We really appreciate you coming out. It's great to have young entrepreneurs. I often say that in this business, we need more youth. I look in the mirror and I said, I need more youth too, but we need more youth. And especially when we run into someone like yourself, Justin, that I hear is on the Forbes 30/30 list, right? Well, how in the world does a young man like yourself not only have the ideas that you come up with, but get recognized for it on something like that list?
But let's backtrack to the story where how I got started. I first learned about entrepreneurship at MIT through an internship about disciplined entrepreneurship. Literally everything I learned from that book, from Bill Aulet, listening to his lectures, and applying the principle from that book, 24 Steps to Entrepreneurship. And applying that just really got everything started from my dad's trucking company for Truckpedia. And by doing that and by openly sharing my progress, sharing my story, people noticed me, and they actually invited me to apply to Forbes 30/30. And also for how we raise money, same thing. I never had the intention of raising money, but because of me sharing story, I'm teaching people, right? So unreservedly sharing tips to truckers, people noticed and started inviting me. Hey, you need money?
Nice. Well, one of the nice things about getting recognized in this business space, number one, it's in what I would like to say a generational transition period. There's so much volatility in the transportation industry in general. There's so many needs for expertise like you're trying to present with your platform for efficiency's sake. But to have on top of that a very good story, that's like the double whammy, right? And from my understanding, I believe you grew up, at least for a short period of time, over in China, and your father was a truck driver over there. And so that's talk about learning the ropes young.
Oh yeah, he's been in trucking because my uncle is about 20 years older than my dad. They were all in trucking. Like growing up, they grew up in a trucking family growing up, and they all know how to drive, how to repair trucks. So when he moved here, the best thing to do is that, wow, if I can do trucking in the U.S. too, that would be amazing. And he did it. But it's different from there because he didn't know how to conduct business and find customers here, right? It's kind of similar but different, especially with the language barrier, relying on a low board to survive. So for me, growing up, I never knew what I wanted to do, but I knew one thing I didn't want to do, which was trucking.
I find that a lot with second generation, but I also find that once you get into the transportation logistics field, it's kind of hard to get back out because it's so broad and it's expanding all the time. And
it absolutely is. And then another reason, getting noticed in the trucking industry is because there are not a lot of startups focusing on truckers. A lot of people are focusing on shippers. A lot of people are focusing on freight brokers, but not a lot of people are focusing on scaling truckers. They talk about freight matching, marketplace, AI, all those buzzwords, but those are mostly built for the other parties, right? Everyone's leaving truckers out of the equation. And if you want to make something happen, say, hey, let's play together. But you're right here and truckers are down here. There's no way to facilitate that until somebody, right, bring the truckers up. And that's really what Truckpedia is trying to do is how do we empower in digitizing trucking companies so that they can be on the same playground, same level as anybody.
You know, it's funny, Justin. You've hit kind of a great note with me in particular, because I think it's a very pragmatic approach. A lot of people look at kind of the large splash opportunities for platforms and efficiency and everything. And I'm sure you have a design to grow this thing huge from everything I've understood about you. But it seems like you've taken the approach that says, okay, the young entrepreneurs, the guys that have 1-2 trucks, the guys that were living and breathing off load boards are barely making it because of the margin differentials, right? Probably something you had to
Absolutely.
go through with your dad as well.
I did.
Right?
I did.
And if you can get those guys more efficient, they can make more money on the margins. They can grow, scale.
You actually said it perfectly. I mean, this is the exact reason why, if you look at statistically speaking, more than 90% of the trucking company in the US have 6 trucks or less. And that's the entire reason why, because nobody ever taught truckers, hey, this is how you actually do business the right way, rather than relying entirely on the load boards. And a lot of people say brokers are bad. I don't necessarily think brokers are evil. And Truckpedia is not here to take out brokers. And the reason why I say that is truckers and brokers need to realize that trucking company needs to have a healthy mix, right? You need to, that could be a 60% direct freight, 40% broker loads, right? As you scale, if a trucking company you work with that used to have 5 trucks, but now they got 50, 40% of 50 is much more than 100% of 5.
Right.
So in a lot of ways, it's a win-win situation. Just that nobody ever thought about that. Everyone just started focusing on their own company, their own operations. Nobody ever thought about, wait, that's actually a great approach. Exactly what I did, and that's what Truckpedia wants to do as well. Is, hey, truckers, don't hate brokers. They're just really good salespeople. Rather than blaming them for the market, let's see what we can learn from them.
Right.
Those people got direct customers without having any assets. We're the one with asset. There's a few things we can learn from them so we can grow our own customer base as well and leverage the relationship and network from brokers to get our trucks back home so we can keep taking care of our customers, right? So I think that's what people need to realize. There needs to be equilibrium on that and educating truckers rather than just, hey, let's have, price transparency. So what? Brokers make $500 off a load that you make $200. So what? That information, nothing's going to change, right? You push the White House, you push the policy, everything, the law to regulate that. Nothing will change unless you know the secrets, how they got those high-paying freights. Right. And I think that's the root of the problem is nobody realized that part.
I talked to this issue a lot in conversations with people in transportation over the years. Balance, right? If you're all load board, you're destined for you're going to make less money, as you just said, than the underlying broker that's using you as a carrier, right? A lot of my career in the industry was calling on BCOs, the shippers, the receivers, the big box guys, et cetera. And one of the things that I always used to try to develop, because everybody was trying to push carrier, because the broker's a middleman. But the idea of kind of a core carrier group plus one, where the plus one, that 20% or whatever number you're talking about, is the broker. So you can accommodate both of those with your platform. But I got to take one step back real quick and ask you a question. When I was checking out your site a little bit, I noticed that there's still some branding for Ease Papel, right? And which is not Chinese, that's Spanish, right? It's easy paper. Right?
Yes.
So, so why did you decide to go ahead and kind of rebrand? I love the Truckpedia name. So I think it might be just you like the name better. I don't know. But how did that go?
Absolutely. We started off entirely as a TMS, right? And the purpose of TMS is to save time, save money. It doesn't have the make money part. Reason why we named it Easy Papel is because I had a lot of Spanish-speaking drivers, and drivers are really bad with technology. All the paperwork they give me were like crap. We had to hire people literally just scan them. So we want to simplify the paperwork process. Our first feature was actually a mobile scanner for drivers to scan their POD upon delivery, go straight into the system to streamline the billing process. And that's where the name Easy Papel came from. But not everybody speaks Spanish. Even if they do, they see a Chinese guy with a Spanish company name. It doesn't make sense. So the Easy Papel, nobody can pronounce it correctly. So, and then as we keep our product keep on evolving, it doesn't make sense anymore. Let's just start rebranding. So December last year, We started the branding process. Right now, we're going entirely, in about 2 weeks or so, our rebranding will probably finish. You will not see anything easy about. Everything will be entirely Truckpedia, right? Wikipedia, Expedia, Truckpedia.
I think it was a great move. Yeah, I really do. I mean, when we met Ivy at Manifest, it was, very evident. I mean, and Truckpedia just jumps right off the page. And that's of course something you want is you're branding yourself, which you obviously do a lot of, which I think again is one of the things I look at some of the young folks coming into this industry. They have a better handle that than some of us more seasoned veterans. So I think that's a great thing to do. I love what I've seen on your platform, and I think you've got some interesting things happening for sure. The one thing I always wonder about, though, with people putting platforms together, technologies together, is are they doing this entirely themselves? Are you the programmer and the trucker and the expert behind the scenes, or do you use outside technological people to try to put these things together?
When I was working for my dad, we had to hire outsource people to build the very, very initial version while I was still working for my dad. But then after he retired, he end of 2021, beginning 2022, I found myself a CTO. He is entirely in charge of the programming side, and I'm entirely in charge of operation, talking to the customers, hearing the needs of the customers. So from programming perspective, Truckpedia right now has about 25 engineers led by my CTO, and he runs that part, and I'm entirely on the ops strategy side.
Yeah, and you're out there again, branding and putting your influence in the market, and it's interesting because the idea of making truckers more efficient, in particular with the paperwork and the automatic uploads and things like that. You're not the only one in the market doing that, but it seems like you're producing a connection between these truckers directly to shippers as well, which is something that's lacking out there.
That's the part that really differentiates Truckpedia from everybody else is the transparency. People just make assumption that trucking companies don't want to share their capacities with anyone. But if you think about it, trucking companies are no different from hotels or airlines. We all own assets, but the business model is entirely flipped. Hotels, airlines, they put a price on it. People just look at, I can compare a list of the airlines and hotels. I choose which one fits my budget. But when it comes to trucking, it's entirely flipped, right? Trucking companies are calling brokers or shippers nonstop. Hey, do you have this load available? Yes, I do. Well, and then the shipper or broker would give them a price. Well, I got $3,000. If you can do 28, it's yours, right? They're being told what price to accept rather than the other way around. So what we're trying to do is flip it backward, allowing truckers to, hey, I run these lanes. These are the equipments I have, and this is a price I'm looking at. Post it. Let everybody see it, right? And if you need it, go ahead and book it, right? Whether broker or whether a shipper, because brokers are having the same problem that shippers have. They're not reusing their carriers. They every time shipping comes up, they post it to load boards, and then people just call them. They get a new carrier every time, rather than reusing the carriers they worked with in the past. And then the reason behind that is they don't have real-time visibility to the capacity information of those carriers.
So you're keeping a database of all these kind of interconnections that occur so that people can see the patterns and start using things over and over again. Because was I found with these shippers and even with, brokers, everything gets posted on these load boards because it's easy, right? It's an automatic upload. It's just done. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a way to get something off your desk real quickly as a shipper that's looking to get certain things done. I've got one particular client that I receive probably 10 different mini bids every single day.
Yeah.
We did that for a little while. We had some good effect to that. And then we ended up changing and calling them and saying, look, we've got this. We've done 14 of the same load in the last week. Quit posting it. Just give it to us, right? You keep giving to us anyway. Quit making a spot market the whole thing over and over again. So the reason I bring that up is data analytics is such a big thing these days. And data is useless unless you can look through it and sift it and funnel it into some kind of focused opportunities for those that you're working with. Is that something that's in your program or something that's working on? Or
that's what we're launching in about 2 weeks, making it live. Is trucking company right now, exactly like you mentioned earlier, right? What we're enabling trucking company to do is everybody has a spreadsheet or a notebook. Literally, they write down that I got 5 trucks available on Tuesday delivering in Nashville, Tennessee, and I need to send them to Arizona, to this place and that place. It's only in their own notebook or spreadsheet. Nobody else has visibility to it. What we're doing is allowing them, hey, don't just put on your notebook. Don't just put on your own spreadsheet. Make it shareable, visible to anybody. Just like how Airbnb posts capacity people. Someone book your truck, it's not available. Someone book your hotel from these 3 nights, it's not available anymore, right? Same as your trucks. You know exactly where you want to send your trucks to. You know exactly how many loads you can cover out of your home terminal every week, every month, every year. Let people know that so they can start booking ahead of time, and it will only make trucking companies' job easier in terms of planning. Okay, I got these many loads pre-booked, right? Now I can need to work on backhauls. So that's what we're doing, is giving them a capacity planning tool that they can literally put down. I can cover 20 truckloads out of Los Angeles going to Cayman, Arizona every week at this price point. Dry van equipment, this is what we do. If you need to book it at this price point, go ahead, book them all, right? I can do this for the entire year. Whether you're looking for a spot or contract, okay, from a shipper or a broker, say, hey, I got this load I'm bidding out that they're looking for a 5 truckload every week from A to B, and these carriers can handle them at this price point. All right, let me vet them. They look perfect. We'll work with them before. Oh, I'm glad I found them again, right? Boom, put in your system, tender everything to that person for the rest of the year.
Right, and that makes your system even more sticky because those carriers are on there, and then those shippers are interfacing right onto it. Now, is it an open source from the shipper's point of view or the BCO's point of view getting on there, or is that, do you have a subscription from both levels, or is it just from the side of the carrier?
Just from the side of the carriers. And then the best part that differentiates Truckpedia is we're not going to mark up anything, right? A lot of a platform out there start marking up. We don't mark up anything. We just want to be a technology platform that we don't have any, conflict of interest with any party, broker, shipper, carrier. There's no conflict of interest with anybody. And we serve carriers, and carrier capacity there. You don't need to, for a shipper, carrier, anybody, you don't need to register your account. You can just go on truckpedia.io. You can see all the trucking company that's available, what price point they are. What we're working on right now is API.
Gotcha.
API feeding to all other shipper TMS, ERP systems, any other system that needs to get real time full truckload quotes integrate. So that's what we're working on next, is getting those API available for anybody that want to call within their own system.
You beat me to my next question, actually, Justin, because I was just going to say it's great to create a handshake, right, on a platform between carriers and these shippers, but integration is the key to it, and either through EDI or APIs or whatever the case may be, because then you become the primary go-to. You become that Airbnb that you're talking about, right? That's, I'm sure, what you want to do, because I'm sure if you started out in the 30 under 30, you want to be in the 40 under 40 soon, right? That's sure. And that'll, believe me, trust me, that'll come so quick. It's unbelievable. So
thank you for your kind words.
I often talk to folks that have started their own companies. And I know, for the folks out there watching this is just a 2-year-old company, right, Justin?
Yeah, 2-year-old, yeah. 2022, 2023.
Right. So interesting timing putting that together. I'm sure there was some benefits in terms of what was going on in the industry. And of course, right now we're in an incredibly spot market industry, which probably lends itself to young entrepreneur, owner-operator types getting on your platform. Because what I see on that side of things is just costs going up for those 1, 2, 3, 5 truck guys. The insurances in particular, the way that they have to put together their dispatch and their paperwork and everything else. It's a lot for somebody that just wanted the freedom of being a trucker. They need to get more efficient. So getting a subscription to Truckpedia will help them do that tremendously, I would imagine.
Absolutely. And it will set them up for success to scale their business, right? Some people just want to keep it small, great, right? We want to just keep that 5 to 10 trucks and then increase their profit margin. For some people, they want to scale, from 3 to, 50 to 100 to 500, right? Truckpedia, regardless of your size, We have a company with over 1,500 trucks on our platform running their operations. So we are the infrastructure we build is literally to scale any size trucking companies and make it so easy, so efficient that they no longer need to focus on a $5 task. The owners, they can now focus on a $500 task.
Yeah, that's great, because you have to know the value of your time. And I would imagine as an entrepreneur yourself, and from what I saw and a little brief about you previously, is you come from like Amazon background for a while, MIT for sure. And MIT, I think it was called Transportation Lab or something that they have there, is an incredible resource for our industry, right?
Innovation. Over there, that's where I learned about entrepreneurship. As I mentioned earlier, I learned about entrepreneurship after my undergrad at UC Davis. Went over there, learned about entrepreneurship, did an internship over the summer, learned a lot, and applying that in real life is what really led me to where I am now. Just the simple steps, like you mentioned, going out there, right? Just talk to customers, listening to them, making sure that you're solving the right problem for those people, right? It's just really the key of where we are right now.
You know, Justin, I think one of the things that, and I've only just met you, but there's the secret sauce of entrepreneurship is a 4-letter word, in my opinion, and that's work, right? You've got to be prepared both mentally and within the industry you're talking about to really work and put in the hours with a goal-focused mindset. Yeah, I think that's more than half the battle, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And then to add on to what you mentioned about work, this is what I learned walking away from Amazon was a lot of people will tell you, hey, work smart, not work hard, or work smart, not work long. From what I learned from Amazon, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, it doesn't really work that way. You got to work long, work hard, and smart. Without any of the three, not that you're not going to make it, it's going to be much more challenging.
You know, I think that there was one thing that I heard you say previously, and maybe it was at Manifest, because I saw somebody interviewing me and I stopped by and watched part of it, by the way. You probably didn't know I was lurking in the background. But you said something about really focusing on the customer first instead of your plan. And maybe you didn't say it like that, but it was something along the lines about being too stubborn. And so all of us think we have the best idea on the earth, right? And we want to put it into program and it's our idea and we must do it our way. But I think you were basically saying that if the customer doesn't want that or wants something slightly different, don't be stubborn about it. Am I capturing that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't be stubborn, right? One of the favorite, saying that I heard from my mentors, right? You got to be fast on your vision, but be flexible on how you get there, right? Like the vision is not going to change, but the way how you get there, you got to be flexible. Listen to your customers and talk to them. You will know what they say to you, right? They will tell you they will not tell you the answers, but they will guide you to get there. If you listen to them and figure out what really bothers them, what's their top 2, top 3 biggest pain point, and then solving it, working it backward along with what you have, your vision will not change. But the way how you get to your final destination will change. And you got to be flexible with that.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I have a little saying that I've used. Heck, I used it with my kids and I use it with people that I talk to and mentor as well. And it's put your goals in cement, but your plans in sand, because the plans to get to your goals will often change. The route does not necessarily the way you decide at the very beginning. It's a process for sure, right?
Absolutely. And another one of the favorite saying from my mentor that told me that really made me, I just couldn't go to sleep that day after talking to him, just kept making me thinking is, it's like being a leader, being the founder, what we need to think about is how do you save yourself from yourself? It doesn't make sense, but it makes perfect sense when you think about it, right? This has to do with your stubbornness. I might be too short-sighted. I might be too focused because I'm stubborn. I think I'm solving the right problem. Do you have people who will challenge you around you, who say no to you, and you're open to what they tell you, right? When the mentor I spoke to shared that with me, I was like, wow, that's really stuck with me. It really is. Being a founder is like, it's a lonely journey and it's a lot of ambiguities you have to deal with. But then how do you really save yourself from yourself? Like that's just such. I
think you hit it, Justin. You've got to be able to look around you to usually a fairly tight group of mentors or people that you anticipate good advice from. ingest that. Obviously, you got to make your own decision, but you got to be open to change.
Yeah. And that's your customers, talking to your customers. Like for me, that's going to conferences, going to trade shows, traveling, nationwide to where my customers are, and then just pitch my idea to them and listen to their reaction, read their body language, their reaction, and listen to what they say, right? And if you talk to enough of those people, and then being in their situation actually helps too. Coming from a second-generation trucker and seeing that, resonating how much of the pain point I had and versus what they have, it could be running different even type of equipment, different part of the country, but still, you all share the same pain point.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can tell you, I can see big things ahead for Justin Liu and Truckpedia and your crew. And, maybe I'll be looking forward, instead of using that Uber thought in my mind, I'm going to be using Truckpedia to do what I need to do, right?
Appreciate that. That's our goal to, turn Truckpedia into a verb as well for all the warehouse shippers and brokers that need to find truckers worldwide.
So Justin, where can people find you? Where can people reach out?
Truckpedia.io. You can read more about the company, and also I'm on LinkedIn a lot. So if you search Justin Liu Truckpedia on LinkedIn, I like to share a lot of resources with truckers on how to really scale your company without holding back, just giving actionable tips and advice to truckers on scaling their business.
That is fantastic. I can't thank you enough for coming on for a few minutes and sharing with us. I look forward to big things ahead for Truckpedia.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's been a pleasure talking to you.